Good evening, everyone. Thanks and welcome for being. كتير بعيدة. Is it more clear now?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you really for being here today and joining us for this wonderful lecture. We are really excited about what we will hear today. My name is Nisreen Abu Sheikh. I'm the Chief Financial Officer and Deputy Director of the American Center of Research. We are really excited to have a very special really guest introducing a very special topic. And we are really eager for having Dr. Yazan Atal, and at the same time, we have Dr. Barbara Porter, our ACOR ambassador and former director. I'm sure, I doubt anyone here don't know Barbara. And really, we are eager to have Dr. Barbara presence here with us today, and also for her contribution to introduce Dr. Yazan. Really, please join me welcoming Dr. Barbara.
Good evening, everybody. It's very wonderful to be here and see so many special friends and people I know from the 14 years I was director. But first, I should say I give greetings from Piers Paul Kriesman, who wasn't able to be here, but he is listening online. He told me he would do that. And he obviously is working hard on the behalf of ACOR, even though he's not here right now. I had the privilege of being here as director for 14 years, and it was a privilege. It's also a privilege to come back here as a tour leader, and I have 12 people in my group, and I'm going to ask them to stand up, and you talk to them later. Please stand up. Barbara's group. And the reason I do that is that we're going to be talking a lot about places that are precious in Jordan, and tourism obviously is a very important role that makes these places visited time and time again. And of course, from the beginning, we walked in on Saturday, Sunday, whenever, we realized that tourism is having a hard time. So all of those of you who care and are part of that world, which of course Dr. Yazan and his colleagues very much are, is something we want to say how grateful we are that you keep making this so important in this country. You've Lena Shahan did a nice introduction in the handout, or the mailing that you've already received, but I reiterate that Dr. Yazan is an associate professor across the way. Those of you who are on Zoom, online, and have never been here, the University of Jordan is literally across the way. You have a beautiful view of it from ACOR. And so he didn't have to go so far from the university, nor did either his colleagues. He got his PhD, as I'm just reminding you from what you've read, at Brandenburg University of Technology in Germany, and that expertise that came with his PhD about technology is what he'll bring to us from this lecture that, as you can see, he's entitled it, The Nabataeans' Innovative Techniques, which was his dissertation. So we're very fortunate, as I say, to have him come. I also want to say thank ACOR for doing this, because when I came here, I knew there would be no time to try to see all the people I care about. So they did this for me. Thank you very much. And so with no further ado, obviously there's many things he could discuss and talk about, and he shall. And his introduction was simple because he's going to speak from the heart about what he cares about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody, and I'd like to thank you all for attending my lecture. Apparently, this subject has appeared into my mind in 2006. This one?
Yes.
No, it is working. That's okay. In 2006, I've chosen this subject about the innovations of the Nabataeans, the water system, the quarries, the pottery. Regardless, these have been in Jordan since 2000 years, but nobody is giving the right care for these three themes. As you might know, the Nabataeans have excelled in the desert. They were doing a magnificent job, showcasing like the best of what they can do for showing their ingenuity in pottery, water system, and the quarries. In this lecture, I'll try to focus on reinterpreting their system that they used in these three themes. They have been a legacy, like spreading awareness and ensuring their contributions to show the whole world that they can do a really magnificent thing. Their water management techniques have inspired solutions for sustaining in the desert, like facing the bad weather or the atmosphere in the deserts, but at the end, they have made it, making Petra history more accessible and relevant for today. You know, as you might see, the monastery and the facade of the Al-Khazna. And what was in my mind, show what we will do through interpretation and presentation for Petra. This is my imagination, what will happen in Petra if we give it the right care for the future to be presented in this way. And we have the guts and we have the willingness to take all this legacy and present it for the public in this way. About the innovation or innovative water conservation strategies of ancient Nabataeans. The general principle of ancient water conservation, like the societies have gained living through developing unique strategies through the water system and their techniques to local environmental conditions to ensure sustainable water supply. During my visits to Petra, doing some surveys, I have met, might know him, Mr. Ortloff. He's a specialist in the ancient civilizations water techniques. And he showed me like magnificent things done by the Nabataeans. And the Nabataeans have succeeded to make like a big network of pottery pipes for water, and it was really magnificent. So you can, through it, you understand the Nabataeans' water management techniques and how did they manage to drag the water from the highest mountains in Petra to the inside each house of the Nabataeans, doing engineering work couldn't be done in these days. Showing some water tunnels inside the sea. General approaches to ancient water systems in arid regions. Nabataeans and their adaptation, how they can manage and succeed into the harsh climates. Exploring water system in desert civilization is not an easy issue. Like doing magnificent work, facing a high temperature and a place that could minimum to be described as arid place. The significance of water system in ancient societies, many scholars have named Petra like they have taken this strategies from other civilizations, but it was pure Nabataean. So I cannot believe like they are claiming that the Roman civilizations have entered to the Nabataeans society and have invented this kind of inventions or innovations. Nabataean strategies for sustainable water usage. It was a practice adopted by the Nabataeans in managing the water resources. It reflects their deep understanding to the environment and resource conservation. Other pictures. Let's talk now about the Nabataeans' advancement in hydraulic engineering practices. I tried here to focus the role of technology in ancient water. Mr. Orklov have mentioned to me, like, there is a certain degree that the pipes from the highest mountain should be placed in a certain degree to guarantee the dragging of water from the highest mountain. And not only that, they have placed inside the pipe, there was a system for not letting the pipe to be exploded. And that was invented by the Nabataeans. And they reached that level because the magnificent amount of water dragging from the highest part of the mountains, it could explode all the pipes done by the Nabataeans. General overview, Nabataean advancement in water management and craftsmanship. Innovative management of water resources by the Nabataeans, advanced techniques in Nabataean water conservation. I have never seen such a society have conserved water in this way, building cisterns, they have their own, inside every house, there was a small cistern or there was a place for collecting water in a way that guaranteed like every house have enough water to sustain through the highest temperature. Also, integration of water system into daily Nabataean life. Water systems were not just functional, they played a crucial role in the social and economic activities of Nabataean society. Lots of people have claimed like the trades railways inside the tradeways in the Nabataean kingdom have never been built without doing such a system of conserving water, because they have always known, the Nabataeans, that they are the best traders, and trading through a lot of different deserts that they have their own containers of water during their long way that led them to sustain from country to another country. During my thesis, I have discovered that there was some temples back to the Nabataean period have been found in China. And there was another Nabataean temple was found in Italy. And that was never could be done without conserving water in a proper way, which will be talk later about the pottery jars they have invented that could contain water and let them durable during their way. The integration of water system into Nabataean daily life. Impact of water management on Nabataean agriculture. Also during my study, I have seen like the place of Petra have found a lot of agricultural crops, and there was done properly through the water system that they have invented, like planting and doing a lot of work in the field, which never could be done also without the magnificent work in the water system. Also, social structures influenced by water availability. The distribution of water resources shaped the socio-political landscape of Nabataean society. They could settle in a prosperous way, like all the scholars have mentioned, like it was the best days of the Nabataeans through their coins or through their writings, and thanks for there was a thing that let them live in a better way. Also here I have all now water canals have technology, which is AI in my study. Like that was the situation there in Nabataean. There was tunnels, there was dams, there was water flow was needed, like, amount of water couldn't be done without using such kind of containers for water. Now we will talk about the Nabataean pottery techniques and their cultural implications throughout history. Cultural significance of Nabataean pottery craftsmanship. Exploring the artistry in pottery and social rule. One of the most important things I teach to my students about the Nabataean pottery, it's not an ordinary kind of pottery. It's done in a way have never been shaped before. And as you might all know, it's the eggshell pottery. It was an innovative use of local materials in pottery. They have not imported materials it was all locally done by local artists or craftsmanships. The Nabataeans skillfully utilized local resources, enhancing their pottery durability and aesthetic appeal, showcasing their environmental adaptability. They have adapted the environment around them to let them, or let's say it facilitate their work through the local resources to give us such magnificent pottery plates. We can see them here. Lots of organizations in Jordan, starting with the ACOR, of course, the gesture, we all know about the Nabataean fineware pottery, and which is a magnificent study I have found through the social media or the internet, talking about the imagination of the artist. How did he manage to draw like these motifs and patterns inside each plate, which was durable through the 2000 years we are talking about. Now about the general overview of ancient pottery techniques in Near East. I have talked about 4 different topics, like the comparative analysis of pottery methods across ancient cultures. The method of producing such plates or such pots, jars, every different type of pottery, it takes a lot of talent, which cannot be found easily in other civilizations. It was only found in the Near Eastern cultures. The traditional practices in the creation of pottery vessels, it was not an easy thing. Through exploring traditional methods of forming and firing pottery in a certain degree, in a certain materials to produce, in addition to the talent of the artist who have produced such kind of pots and jars. Significance of pottery in ancient trade networks, which was playing a major role through their, everybody knows that they were the best traders, but most of their products was the pots and the pottery producing. The diversity of pottery styles in the ancient Near East, the variety of pottery styles across different civilizations illustrate the rich tapestry of cultural identity and artistic expression in the region. During my study, like to compare at least the early days of the Roman Empire potteries and the Nabataeans, you can find that it's way better than the Roman one. The Roman have tried to take from this skillful producing pottery and to name it to themselves, but still the best one was the Nabataean. Influences of trade Nabataean pottery design. They have been really influenced through their environment, and trade route significantly influenced designs and techniques employed in Nabataean pottery, showcasing the reach of their cultural interactions. Innovative pottery techniques adopted by the Nabataeans, the incorporation of innovative techniques in pottery production by the Nabataeans exemplifies their adaptability and creativity craftsmanship. The wheel of the potter, the artist, using his own wheel to produce such kind of things, it was done purely by the artists of the Nabataean kingdom. The rule of pottery, expressing Nabataean identity. They needed to prove themselves through the whole nation that they have produced something to know as soon as you see it that it's a Nabataean product. Doing such a skillful thing, it was not an easy issue. General developments in ancient craftsmanship techniques, Nabataean artistry in pottery and ceramics. The pottery produced by the Nabataeans reflect their cultural identity and adaptation to environmental conditions, featuring both functionally and artistic expression. One can say, how could the environment affect, like, on the artist's skills? If you have a close look to the pots or the drawings or the motifs or the patterns inside each plate, you can feel it's from the environment. And the artist who have drawn it successfully on each plate has in his mind a message to prove, like this is all done by Nabataean artists. And now we will jump to the examining the unique quarries used by Nabataeans for their architectural marvels. First, I talked about the exploring the interact quarrying methods of Nabataeans. During Mr. Chris Tuttle, while was he in Jordan in ACOR, we went to visit one of the quarries in Petra, taking a close look about the hammer and the widget that they used to extract the stone from the quarry. It was really done in a really artistic way. They don't want to ruin the facades, and at the same time they have done it from the first attempt, and they have their own blueprints in their mind. Like they know all the measures and they know how much quantity of stones that they need to build. They didn't do it spontaneously. They did it in a very artistic, scientific way. General excavation techniques in ancient stone quarrying. The various ancient cultures utilized distinct excavations methods in extract stone, which I have just said, which provides insight into their architectural ambition and resource management. Nabataean architecture's materials. The utilization of local materials in Nabataean architecture is crucial for understanding their building practices and environmental adaptation. The architecture, everybody might know, like they have carved the stones, the Nabataeans, but also there was all different school of architecture in the Nabataeans. They built, for example, Qasr al-Bint. They built some other also private houses inside the Petra and Nabataean quarrying and its influence on construction. Without having these techniques, the quarries in Petra, there was not have any chance to see more than caves or carved places inside the mountain. About the general methods of quarrying stone in ancient cultures, I have talked about an overview of quarrying techniques throughout history. Various cultures have developed unique quarrying techniques. You can find in Southern America, you find in Spain, you find in Portugal. There is also a school for each one city I mentioned, their own point of view in quarrying. But the unique one was the Nabataean one. The significance of local resources in ancient quarrying. Local resources played a crucial role how ancient societies approached quarrying, influencing their construction methods and material selection. Nabataean innovation in stone extraction techniques, I've mentioned it earlier. Comparative analysis of quarrying practices across civilization. There was different analytical studies talked about the quarrying practices in Petra. For example, drawing a plan for making his Nabataean architectural style was more or less all the same, but quarrying was different from place to another, especially when we talk about extraction the stone from the mountains. Now we'll talk about analyzing the use of local materials in Nabataean architecture, local stone utilization in Nabataean construction techniques. Nabataeans skillfully utilized local stones, demonstrating their adaptability and resource management in architectural design, general trends in material sourcing for ancient architecture, and impact of local geology on Nabataean building style. The Nabataeans have run into the different types of stones in Petra. They have known not only the sandstone, also there was limestone, there was several kinds of stones that they have extract and they have tried to build. General developments in ancient craftsmanship techniques. Techniques used in Nabataean quarrying and stonework. Nabataean quarries were characterized by advanced methods of extraction and transportation. Transporting the stone was a really good story to say. They have tried to transport the stones in the beginning, like depending on the size of what they have extracted. But most of the animals or the sheep or the horses or what they have used couldn't carry amount like 50, 100, 200 kilos. They have tried it to transport it through dragging it by putting lots of ropes on it and drag it from place to another. And also they have tried to crush it to small parts, but at the end they have realized that the sandstone is the lightest one, and that's why they kept using the sandstones. General developments in ancient craftsmanship techniques, general approaches to craftsmanship in ancient societies. Craftsmanship during the Nabataean period was heavily influenced by trade and cultural exchange. They have moved from city to another. They have tried so many communication with other nationalities, but at the end, they have succeeded to take what they have found it suitable to be taken back to Petra. Also here, I believe what was the situation, the pottery market. Like every market have their own craftsmanship and they have their own design, their own artists, and try to focus it more on shape. Jars was not found. scale of the pottery, of course, was known like little size, big one, small ones. Each house have their own factory, build its own jars, and sell it through the trading ways. Now, to my part. Of course, I'm interested. I'm an archaeologist. Of course, I love to talk about the Nabataean in Petra. But my challenge was, or my thesis, which was dropped from the topic I'm presenting today. It's about interpretation and presentation, the important themes that have been missed in Petra. There was my thesis in 2011. Nothing have changed from 2011 to 2025 about interpreting Petra in a proper way. That's why I have chosen 3 themes, which I found in my opinion, the most important ones. Challenges in interpretation have faced a lot of issues, starting with the bureaucracy or the overlapping that might happen in Petra for several reasons. But of course, the PDTRA have done a lot of great work. And of course, the authority commissioner, the late one, Mr. Sulaiman Farajat, is attending with us today, and we are honored for being with us. But still, there's lots of issues have been missed from the Department of Antiquities regarding interpretation. And they were saying like there is an overlapping between all the institutions in archaeology in Jordan. The most important challenge, in my opinion, was understanding the full extent and functionality of the water system due to erosion and damage. Show example of damaged infrastructure, limited excavation, highlight areas that require more investigation. It was done, left the way I see it in 2011. Successful modern approach, I have chosen or have written them down to raise the situation regarding interpretation and presentation. GIS and remote sensing, these technologies can map the model, the entire water network. Hydrological modeling, simulating water flow to understand system capacity and efficiency. Also environmental archaeology, analyze sediment cores to reconstruct past climate and water availability. Petrographic analysis, 3D scanning and modeling, experimental archaeology. All of these topics could also raise the poor situation of interpretation and presentation in Petra. Of course, underutilization of innovative techniques. Most current presentation strategies in Petra focus on monumental architecture, like Al-Khazni, but lack depth in showcasing the Nabataeans' technological ingenuity, such as water management systems, urban planning, and rock-cut architecture. Visitor engagement gaps, surveys, or observation indicate that while visitors are amazed by the site scale, they often leave without a full understanding of Nabataeans' innovative achievements. We might have here some tour guides, and I think they might agree with me. Like most of the visitors, they attend to go to the Khazna, to go to the Qasr al-Bint, and that's it. Forgetting like how many archaeological places we have inside Petra. Lack of interactive or digital interpretation tools, minimal use of interactive signage or augmented reality or storytelling methods that could vividly explain the ingenuity behind structures like cisterns, dams, and sea canalization. Also, educational potential, untapped interpretation materials rarely link Nabataean innovations to broader historical or engineering context, missing an opportunity to connect with students, researchers, and curious tourists. As a conclusion, the study highlights that effective interpretation and presentation of the Nabataeans' innovation or innovative techniques in Petra is crucial to deepening public understanding and appreciation of this ancient civilization. While Petra's visual magnificence captures attention, its true genius, that sophisticated engineering, urban design, and environmental adaptation strategies of the Nabataeans is often overlooked due to outdated or superficial presentation methods. This is very sad to say. Like lots of tour guides, they have forgotten the important topics that we are presenting, like the water and cistern quarries and pottery, and have never taken the right position to be presented for public. Here I presented some modern solution for the three topics: enhance interpretive strategies, develop educational materials, collaborate with archaeologists, educators, and designers. Ultimately, this approach will not only enrich visitor experience, but also strengthen cultural heritage preservation, educational outreach, and sustainable tourism in Petra. At the end, I present, this is the, I'm almost done, of the quarries, extraction of the stone, what I am told you, that the two ropes, they pack the stone to different places. Might be a bit different from what was really happening, but this is the best I can do. Some exaggeration, but try to be more. At the end, we call for an action, encourage further researchers and collaboration, which will emphasize the need for innovative presentation methods to engage the public with the site efficiently. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yazan. Of course, this is the time for questions. I'm not sure I'll be able to figure out how to do it with the Zoom, but I'll do the ones in the audience. But I am going to make sure that you actually use a microphone, because otherwise people in the Zoom audience don't hear you. And for 5 years, that's been my problem. So I'm going to bring you here.
Thank you. Thank you for a great recap of all the technologies that they use. But however, I would like to stress one thing, that porous pottery, very likely it was used to increase the alkali, to make water more alkaline. That's by increasing the content of magnesium and potassium in the water. This will lower its microbial and will make it cooler, but however, it will be more healthy. And I think we still use this technology till today. I'm not sure if those potteries that you found or through your research, if you actually considered the porosity versus the quality of water in it, and the glazing as well. I mean, how the glazing and the porosity played towards increasing the health of their water system. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. What I'd love to have an answer for this issue, but in my opinion, the high temperatures and using the pottery, at least the jars or the cups, would give the cold atmosphere. Regarding the glazing, I'm not sure that there was intensively used for glazed pottery here. And of course, I cannot give my opinion during my professor's attendance, Dr. Muawiyah and Dr. Zaidan. I don't know if there was any kind of glazed pottery in the Nabataean. There was nothing, I think, in that period about glazing.
So there's another question back here.
Thank you. Hello, Dr. Yazan. Thank you for the great lecture. I have one question and one thing I want to point out. Normally, quarrying sites are considered invasive processes which disrupt a lot of the environment, especially natural water systems and urban infrastructure. They can cohere together. My first question is, how invasive were the quarries which were constructed by the Nabataeans? Did they affect the urban environment? Did they affect the urban system? Were they producing a lot of sedimentation which got mixed up with the water routes, sort of say? And the second thing is, I genuinely believe that great breakthroughs can be done with working on a multidisciplinary approach with archaeology. Like, for example, I'm an urbanist and an architect, and at the moment we're doing so much in combining archaeology with machine learning. And that's something that's bringing out so much and brings out a lot, not only for presentation, but for analysis, for wide data analysis across different layer depths. But my main question is, I'm curious to see how quarries played a role. Were they invasive processes by the Nabataeans and they understood that, or they were incorporated to become part of the urban realm? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think they were invasive, and I think that there was a lot of quarries inside Petra that have done a lot of work for the Nabataean kingdom. Regarding cooperation between,
No. It's easy.
yeah, why not? I guess I'm ready to take any other opinions from yourself to talk about it. In my opinion, it will work successfully.
So we have a question from the front from Sharifa Nofa.
Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Thank you, Dr. Yazan, for a very interesting topic. I have one question and one comment. The first one is, how are you planning on the presentation side of things? How are you planning to present it or interpret it? The actual hydrological side of Petra. Is it in situ on site, or is it like a reconstruction site? And that would be a food for thought for Dr. Sleiman and the Petra. Is he? No, but I mean, you can convey the message, okay? Is it a reconstruction, or is it in situ, or is it in the museum? This is one, and that's food for thought for you and for everybody. And the second one, who is it interpreted for? Is it for archaeologists? Is it for students? Is it for hydrology professionals? Or is it for architecture, engineers side and department? This is one aspect, another aspect to look at it. I'll leave that to you.
Thank you so much, Sharif and Wafam. Yeah, at the beginning, like a presentation, doing a presentation for the hydrological system or the hydraulic system in the Petra area. Reconstruction won't work successfully. I think we can do a rehabilitation for these hydrological elements that have been found and still exist in a way or another, plus minus, not like before, but still exist there. Like if we did it properly, I think it would succeed to be presented in a proper way to guarantee sustainability of the site. Because while you are doing a great presentation, you can guarantee like people will attend more and more to see what's happening or what was happening to what we name it the magnificent system of hydrology or hydraulic system. Regarding interpretation, in the beginning, let me explain interpretation. It depends on me as an interpreter. You have to make a relation between the visitor and the site. And this relation won't work easily if you didn't convince him that this site from the beginning worth his visits. Interpreting, you will leave a story in his mind like it was not could be guessing by all means. Surprisingly, like this is something you won't find it every day. That's why I'm asking to do a proper interpretation and stop using private companies who are they not at all have what it takes to do a proper presentation. Like when I try to do some questionnaires in the market, the Jordanian market, the presentation is not ever been done by the Department of Antiquities. It was done by private companies who work in contract with the Department of Antiquities, which is, in my opinion, should be done by archaeologists who have got the background to do it properly.
So there are two other questions coming up, but I want to make one statement. I hope everybody in this room has been to the Petra Museum, because I think there's a lot of good interpretation there on the water systems. So if you haven't been there, that's a mistake on your part. My group will be there, of course, next week. And I'll say every evening, don't go have a drink, go to the Petra Museum. So now I'm going to have these two questions, and then we'll see what the timing is.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Yazan, for this presentation. You mentioned in your presentation that there are some, I don't know whether organizations or people within in the desert that are using modern systems that is inspired by the Nabataeans. Can you perhaps talk about that? I'm interested how those old systems are used now. Thank you.
Till now, some people in these days using the system have been used in the Nabataean periods through pipes or using the same quality or the type of pottery pipes have been used. Till now, some farmers or some people in the desert who try to get some water to their houses, they still use it. And I've talked to some of them. They built on the old pottery jars, pottery pipes done by the Nabataeans. They built on it and they rehabilitated again. And it's working successfully. The water is still cold and pure, and they are using it for daily life.
Cool. So I'm going to let actually Dr. Suleiman Farajat have the last question, and then I'm going to make a comment, because I know there'll be many, many more, but there's also, as usual, a wonderful reception there. And there's a lot of people I want to talk to.
Thank you. It's great to see you, Barbara, here. Before things get worse at the world, maybe would be difficult in the future. Maybe Sharifa triggered me just to say something. First of all, I'm Suleiman. The second, because there's another Suleiman Farajat, just to make things clear. And I'm a colleague of Yazan Tel at the Faculty of Archaeology and Tourism at the University of Jordan. And I was privileged to lead the Petra Authority from early 2019 to the end of 2023. Thank you, Barbara, for pointing to the Petra Museum, which was opened 2019, where you actually have the chance to look at Petra from a different angle, thanks to our Japanese friends who helped us, let's say, building this museum. A second thing, maybe Dr. Yazan mentioned in a way, we have to also to complement the role of Jordanian archaeologists and the Department of Antiquities, because even if sometimes we hire or we commission companies to do interpretation, it's from a technical, but when it comes to the content, to the interpretation, the archaeological, let's say, details and information, we mainly take them from Jordanian archaeologists and other archaeologists. I must say that I think there is a shortage. I wouldn't say, because the older generation, Dr. Zaidan, Dr. Muawiyah, and many others in the 70s and the 80s were very active, unveiling the Jordanian archaeology to the public and also to the international audience. I think in the last 2 decades, there is a less, let's say, work being done by the Jordanian archaeologists, and this is an issue. And in this case, we need to thank and also our partners, including the ACOR and others who are working everywhere around the country. I must tell you, please stay away from AI the way it is used. AI can be really misleading. Maybe when we talk about quarries, it's nice, but I think I myself have a bit of issue seeing how of the AI pictures trying to convey and symbol Petra in a way which is completely, in my point of view, far away from the reality. I was a tour guide in mid-90s, and one of the most attractive subject we always used to tell the tourists is the hydraulic system, the highly sophisticated Nabataean hydraulic system. So I disagree that there is a shortage in showcasing the Nabataean engineering, because the moment you enter the Sikh, you see the water channels, so there's no way not to talk about it. I think from my own experience in working with the government, the Jordanian government and the BDTRA and the Department of Antiquities would need Jordanian academic who wants to do work. They wouldn't say no. That's for sure. There is a room there. And I want to thank you, and I'm happy to see you, and happy to see you, Barbara, here. And have a nice evening. Just a comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.